And we're live. Hey. Welcome to another episode of Squeezy Sports. And today I'm joined by Onke, Cheese, Gents, Hamban.
Mnandi awuthamba.
I know I'm easy, nje, but it's just ila makhaza. No. But otherwise,
Mfethu.
when I am sure when I come nand kuba uwe, yazi.
It's lonely at the top. It's lonely.
Yes. I know it is. Because you're the only unbeaten team there, man. Everyone else
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
has strong points. A's. Do you guys think you'll make it 10 wins on the
It's gonna be tough without Rodri, man. It's gonna be tough.
Oh, I go. It's no Rodri na, like what? Oh,
Yes.
you know, nowadays, man, football is a
Yeah.
whole lot softer. I mean, I don't think. Let's be honest. In reality, I don't think he hurt the guy. But of course, I mean, if you can get a player
Yeah.
like Rodri booked and Sancho, I mean, I'd do the same thing. Not to say with
Of
me I'm
course, you
Saba,
do
but
it.
I mean, yeah, you do it just so that he can leave. And as well, I mean, yeah, dog, like, hey, I don't know it. Actually, you know what? Let's I just want to have a bit of structure. I don't want us to be all over the place. Hey,
Mm.
but yeah, I think which game kicked off first this weekend out of the big sides. Come to think of it,
It
I
was
would lie
City.
to you
Yamu-
guys. It was City, ne?
Yamuzwa
Yeah,
kahle
it
X.
was.
Yeah.
Yamuzwa kahle X, Golan. Onke yamuzwa kahle X or him.
Yeah, I can hear him
Oh,
fine.
when I is up it.
Okay. Angazi, it seems like he
Are
if
you
he
serious?
into
But
Mati. Hmm.
Do you have
it's
a
hard to
delay?
hear.
Yeah, that's not delay. Angazi if we worry him.
Ish. This ends so. It's too many things there.
Because Onke yamuzwa sharp.
Because initially we logged in and then logged out again because there was a delay. Must start.
Hmm. Okay. I'm things are food. Everyone is busy and so. It's like
Yeah, can you hear me now, cheese?
yeah, yeah, goes sure.
Or same grand match.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, no, let's start off with your game, Cheese. I know there's not much to talk about because it was a routine 2-0 victory. But yeah, how do you feel with how your team played, especially the new guys? I mean, I saw Uba Nunes had an assist. That cross to Haaland for me was, an exceptional ball, and as
So
well, not Doku. I mean, Doku's
definitely,
doing the
yeah,
most.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you touched on Nunes, and I like Nunes a lot because he's a midfielder who likes getting into the box. I mean, he hit that
Mhm.
cross pretty much from the byline,
Yeah.
to get to Haaland, and it was pinpoint. I love the fact that he has so much legs. He runs all over the pitch. Nunes. He's going to be one of those guys who are going to be so important for us during the season, by the looks of things, because Kovacic still looks very injury prone. So Montuzo Tlale are in and out for quite a bit of the season.
Yeah.
Um, and Upep says he can also play holding mid. So I think next week, yeah, I think Upep might. I don't think Upep trusts Calvin Phillips and Van, because the person just gets the least
Yeah.
minutes in the whole team. Muhammad Rona was called Cassim Telemans Calvin Phillips. So so it's bad for him.
yeah.
But overall, the new guys definitely have been slotted well. I think Uvadiol is still a bit overzealous with his passing, so he gets intercepted a lot because we tend to pass at 2 feet a lot, and I think sometimes a bit slow in reacting. But in terms of what he offers, still a great player, and he'll grow into that role under Pep. and he'll eventually be one of the best players in our team, and I trust it. But I think the fact that our squad's getting thinner and thinner every game, because I mean,
Ish.
almost after every game now we have a player who's out. If it's not injury, it's suspension now. So for me, it's just going to be about maintaining the squad for as long as we can until we can get guys to come back. Abu Grealish wabuyile in training as well, so that helps. But if we have a player like Abu Doku and Phil Foden who can just pick up the mantle and keep going, it really does help.
I know, indeed. Fits. When Uncle on your end, I'm not sure if you watched the game.
Yeah, and I did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous sometimes because it's
Ish.
not perfect. When you watch City,
Ish.
if I was a City fan, a lot of things would frustrate me. One of them is Variol. I think Variol is there's a lot there to work with. There's still a huge amount of work that needs to be done to get him acclimatized with the league, the pace of the league. I think the one thing that you could tell from him is that he doesn't lack for confidence, but in his area, in his role, there has to be a bit of conservativeness that he still needs to develop. You can easily create chances for the offense just by pressing him, not pressing him, but forcing him to decisions early, And against a better team, those situations become goals. But I don't think it's that big of an issue because he's got recovery pace. He's very great physically. He's a good one-on-one defender. Even though I still think he's a bit rash, he can rush into the odd challenge. He still needs to learn restraint, just to wait and then tackle. Those are things that you develop over time when you start to understand the pace that teams play with and how teams drive. But the one thing that frustrates me about City is just their competence. They are a very, very competent team. They never go too high and they are
Yeah.
never too low. So they trust the process of how they play. So if they don't score or if they're in a period of difficulty in a game, you don't see a change in attitude. I think Rodri has a lot to do with it because you never get the sense that it's becoming too much for them. You know, in that game, between the first goal and the second goal, there was a small period where it just seemed like they had lost a level of intensity, control, and everything. And I think Rodri just started to pull strings in midfield and moved the ball forward. And Nunes got some freedom. And you could just see the confidence grow again in the team, playing with more confidence. Doku, the one threat Doku has is that he writes off script. You can sort of feel how Man City wants to play, usually.
Yeah.
um, there's something about how they want to play. You can sort of see, okay, they want to do this and this and this and this, and their movements are always about moving the defense around and everything, and they overload a lot of areas. Doku is that one that he gets the ball, and the only thing he's thinking about is the man in front of him and how he's going to beat him. No one in the City team does that,
Yeah.
and because he's there, he's such a game breaker for them because you always have to think, we need to send help because he's likely going to beat the first man. So we need to send someone to cover. The midfielder has to cover. So you could see there was a huge overcompensation to try to stop him, and
Yeah.
that allows everyone else in the middle to get freedom, Foden to get some freedom. I was very impressed with Foden again. I think this season he has impressed me a lot. There's a growth, there's a level that he's hitting now, and I always say I want him to reach a certain level of uh, consistency, that comes with play. But I see this with Alvarez as well. I wasn't sure about Alvarez earlier last season when he would play here and there. Okay, there's something there, but I'm not sure about this player. To me, I remember how I felt about Gabriel Jesus as well. Sihle knows. We used to call him Yesu, and we would laugh about him all the time. But he scored goals, because to me it's how you play. The
Mhm.
outcome is fine, but how you play as a striker and how you gel with the team, the understanding you have with the team. the understanding Alvarez has with his teammates now, with Bernardo, with Foden, I enjoy that more now. It's like, okay, he understands them. He understands how to show,
Yeah.
how to be present, how to drop. He doesn't try to do too much, but he understands how to be a link man as well. It's a very
Yeah.
difficult role to play because it's not really a
Tho-
10 and it's not
Those
really a
passes,
9.
yeah. I mean, the way he tries to find Haaland a lot. There's an interception or a foul that Willy Bolly made. That was a
Yeah, I saw
perfect
that.
through pass, and the
Beauty,
passage fully
beauty,
into Rapan, and
beauty.
he does it so well now. And then got another that pass behind the full back to Doku, where he
Yeah,
got it and Doku cut in and he got the chance and was
Yes,
supposed to finish that the end of
to
it, but
put
I
it to
think
bed.
the defender blocked it. Yeah, but for me, definitely right up there with one of our best players this season, or Alvarez. Mfana, he's left and right footed as well. He's
Eish.
sneaky, ducks underneath people, and so
Yeah,
he looks really interesting, and the fact that he's getting more game time has helped him acclimatize to the league much sooner.
yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
no. I fully agree with you with everything you've said. She's it's like your team, Ntanga. I think this season, Upep will experiment, knowing very well that really isn't anyone on his level. I mean, for him to bring on guys like Abodoku, guys like Nunes, and still, I mean, your team is still cruising. I mean, even though you guys were down to 10 men, as a rival fan, I wasn't like, hey, yeah, basenking and Ilaba, unlike Onke's team. When Onke's team went to 10, I was like, okay, yeah, Ilaba basenking. And whereas with you guys, I knew you guys were gonna manage the game because of how well drilled your players are. And I
yeah,
am
yeah,
envious. I won't lie. I do think this season you guys are gonna cruise even further to winning the title. And it's sad. It really is sad, in fact, to that no one is actually putting up a fight. Right now it's just you guys and against the rest. So as far as Panther is concerned, sigcina ngokuthi we finished higher than you instead of saying that we took City to we limited City. Have you
yeah.
noticed even in our group chats, mfethu, lokho sikwakana ngezinto that really don't matter, dog,
Yep,
because
yep.
Okay and I are lingering down there, and we should be challenging. Moral of the story, we should be challenging, and it's very depressing that
Mm,
even with Liverpool, I mean, as much as Liverpool now, but they also are doing okay. I still see a lot of areas where you guys can easily exploit. The midfield is
yeah,
dead. The
yeah.
midfield is dead, and of course, the teams that they're playing against are not clinical. I mean, imagine if they play
Mm,
against you guys with the terrible midfield. You guys are gonna score a shitload of goals against them. Not
mm.
so. Yeah, man. For me, man, like I can only admire Tanga more than anything. I can just only admire how how City are doing right now. And I just also want
Yep.
to ask you, do you think you guys are gonna beat Arsenal comfortably at the Emirates, even though you don't have Urod?
I think it will be tough, Mfana. I think it will be tough. I think
Yeah,
if defensively, Arsenal are better this season, right? Yes,
yeah,
they are conceding goals, sometimes through mistakes and losing the position. But City are just as susceptible to sort of chances like that. And I think because we're much more stable defensively, we'll pose more of an attacking threat to Arsenal. And with players like Doku, I wouldn't want to see Zinchenko against Doku. Zinchenko against Doku will be annihilation
yeah.
101 for Zinchenko at left back. So it's going to be a tough game. But like I always say, without Rodri, every game now is going to be a bit more difficult. I mean, even for the first goal, Pella, Rodri is the one who finds Kyle Walker with that pass behind
Yeah.
the back, behind the defense. So those sort of things are not watched by people who watch the numbers. To watch
Mm-hmm.
the numbers, to watch the numbers, Alvarez had a bad game,
Yeah.
and many other players. But before Rodri went off on the red card, he was the best player on the pitch. So
Yeah.
It's always going to be a tough game. Don't want to sell Arsenal short. They have come a long way.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Not
yeah,
comfortably, but it's going to be a tough one.
but you know very well, even if you guys drop points against Arsenal, at the end of the day, this is a marathon, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't think on your end you'd be concerned. You wouldn't be concerned. And as well, it's at the Emirates. I mean, that's their home ground. They should be getting something against you guys, in my
Yeah.
opinion. You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, I mean, of course, if you guys do, you know, lose against them, you guys are gonna pretty much create a buzz, an unnecessary buzz on their end. They'll think that they are gonna win the league
And,
title this season. And
and
then
X,
we all know what happens actually.
yeah, and X, like I
Yeah,
always say, Mfana, it's you don't judge City by how they play now.
yeah,
City now are not at their rhythm. They're not at their ebb and flow. People are still finding themselves. Abu Doku, Abu Nunes, Abu Vario. City's a
yeah.
second round team. Second round. Oh, the amount of points traditionally that Pep and his teams collect second part of the season with Man City is just always incredible. So already managed to collect a
I
lot of
think
points. By the time we get to that back end, Sekbuyabo Kevin, Sekbuyabo one, it's gonna be even more dangerous for teams who are chasing City if we're still at the top.
I
I think
know.
this is where
Yeah.
Arsenal Arsenal trailing you guys at this stage is actually sort of curtains for me, because the
Yeah.
best way they were able to stay in the race was they were setting the pace
Mm,
last season, because they started well. I think they had some straight wins. They were unbeaten in like 15 games and stuff like that. They were flying out of the gates. I don't think they thought you guys would start with winning every game. So they felt maybe they could get away with dropping this one and that one and stuff like that. And the level of suffocation that has been applied by City in terms of getting result after result after result, that to me is more dangerous, because if City are winning games and they're not playing at their best, no one is going to
Ish.
stop them once they start playing at their best.
mm,
And that's when teams will be scrambling for, second position. I also think, and I really believe this, the mystique around Arsenal is gone. Arsenal last season was
mm.
a hyper offensive team that had defensive frailties later in the season. So what Arteta's done is that he's overcompensated in trying to solve those frailties at the back, but in so doing, he's sort of taken away their cutting edge offensively. Saka is great, but I don't think Saka is shocking, or he's the cutting edge that you want from a winger is there with him. I love him as a player. I think Martinelli has the cutting edge, but Martinelli is not a scorer. So you never find danger from Martinelli if there's a player in front of him. He's dangerous when he beats the player in front of him. Then he can get to the byline, and he can cross, and he can create, and he basically is a nuisance. But there is a way to play against them. They don't have enough counters as well. Like they
Mm.
don't. They,
And and okay, that's a good point, Symphonias. You know, Colin is probably a good segue anyways, which is Arsenal in any case,
Yeah,
because
100%.
Colin touches on a very important point, which is there's the mystery that was Arsenal's gone. Siazu Martinelli what he wants to do, so we double up on him. We don't allow
Yeah.
him to get behind the full back. We don't allow him to cut inside. So he has to make the safe pass back to Zinchenko, which takes away that threat. It was the same problem that started at the end of last season when he stopped scoring a lot of goals, which eventually created the problem with Arsenal. We're not scoring as many goals anymore because
yeah,
Martinelli has been figured out. Um, Osaka, we keep him from the byline. We don't allow him to come into his left. He wants to come into his left, so let's give him the byline. Let's give him the byline and force him to cross. And we know Guti, our centre backs, are likely to deal with Yesu and KT if that's the case. We're not
Yeah.
worried about Havertz because Havertz is no longer that goal
Ah.
threat. You know? We don't worry. We don't need to worry about him, and also we need to worry about him off the ball as well in possession because his personality he's so. I mean, his form is so bad that he doesn't even want to get onto the ball anymore.
he
Havertz,
doesn't.
even though those small touches and stuff. And short DC team in any case, and which is why I bought Trossard mina babuzi imibuzo. Why singadlali team.
Yeah.
And it's so sad
that's so
because
true.
in the previous game, when Trossard won the game for them, they were struggling with the same thing. They literally scored from a set piece creativity, not from actually the game. Not that they were not creating, but you now you understand. I think now they are understanding that them actually leading last season provided a lot of data for teams to say, oh, you guys are a threat. Then we need to find a way to deal with you. We need to find a way to neutralize you. And I could see Spurs. I mean, first half, Bissouma absolutely destroyed Declan Rice, destroyed that midfield, and it was so sad. And I laughed when Arteta said that Rice asked to be subbed. I
For
don't
real?
know. Yeah, he asked to be subbed.
sis.
I don't know if maybe he was feeling a niggle, or
Yeah.
what, but the fact that he asked is such a bad look because you are facing one of the best midfields in the league this season so far. With Sa and Basuma and Madison, and Madison was destroying that midfield. They couldn't stop him.
Mina, people as well again went and voted for Madison to be player of the season. He's not even the best player, bro.
He's not.
Opisuma this season has been one of the
He's
best players in
amazing.
this season. Opisuma,
He
man.
is amazing.
Opisuma makes that Sa kid look like he's incredible. Madison is
No,
good, very technical in any case, so he doesn't need
Chief,
to worry
give Sa
about
some
it.
love. Give Sa
No,
some
no,
love.
I'm
That's a big man in
I'm saying
heaven.
in the what I'm trying to make sure ukuthi mfethu hambani
Yeah.
esibhedlela singa go to hambani because ukuthi ushenye i-pitbull baba laphayana Aguero uhleli laphayana ulindile baba ukuthi he's going to deal with everything that comes with unokuphisuma mfana and he's so calm akade ukuthathela ibhola ajike alikhere mawuthi asonela kubekela ithanga alivele ngapha aliphasa ngale mfana that guy has been so good and for me he's just been head and shoulders above a lot of people. I think he's contender with Rodri so far in what he does in that position. It's the same sort of thing. I think when first Casemiro came to Premier League last season, when Abo Bruno and Abo Eriksson started playing well and getting those numbers, it's because Bibaz Guti was good at it until they figured out Guti, well, he has a bit of frailties. So Pesuma has just been so good. It allows Madison to go and do his thing. And whereas if you give Madison 5 yards, it's a big problem. We are Kevin. Those people are very dangerous, but and Arsenal paid the price this weekend.
I know they really did, guys. Like, I mean, for me, you'd expect Arsenal, especially from a possession standpoint, to look more threatening when they have the ball at home. And considering how, of course, how they are as a fan base, thinking that they've made it, they have arrived, and like, I just feel like a reality check, they're gonna feel it. I mean, of course, Cheese's team, they won't have Rodri on the weekend, but I do believe there will be a team that will expose Arteta, because I don't think Arteta can take them to the promised land. And when I say promised land, I mean win significant trophies like the Champions League or the Premier League. It's just going to be them, being there in the top 3. And of course, for me as a fan, I don't want my team to just linger there. There needs to be we need to challenge, considering how long the manager has been there for. I mean, how long has Arteta been there for now? Is it like 4 seasons? 3 years?
3 seasons now.
3 seasons. I mean, 3.5. Dog, like, come on. Like, there needs to be some sort of challenge on their end. I mean, and
bafa Jorginho now. Bafa Jorginho.
He's an agent to Jorginho. Uspaneli Chelsea, Usadlayali Chelsea, Jorginho.
Right. I'll straight.
Man. Yeah.
I also think there is an element of Arteta is also the reason Arsenal has the issues they have. You have to know how to strengthen your midfield. I think Arteta was given a budget to do it, and his targets have been. Look,
Oh,
Fabio Vieira is a good player. He's a very good player. I enjoy watching him a lot. I feel as though he is much more of a free role midfielder than he is a central midfielder. He needs to play with the freedom of attacking the box. If if you are playing that player in a big game where the midfield needs to take defensive assignments as well, he gets bullied. There
yeah.
was a point where Usa bengathi uyamkhumula njengejezi. Like it
Yeah.
didn't look nice.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is the problem with having an offensive midfielder. You understand? And understand you have Odegaard and him in the
Yazini. Slim
you have Odegaard
analogy.
and him. So you don't have the physicality that you need to match up with that midfield.
Yeah.
Madison was being physical. Madison was being physical.
Yes.
You
Out
know,
of all
even
people.
almost hurt himself. He even almost hurt himself trying to make a tackle. He was being that physical, and
Yeah.
you understand this is clearly coached into the team to say, no, this team, in midfield, they play cute. You know, they play cute. You know, they're not
Yeah.
used to having
But
bodies put on them.
but I think the thing is that he can't play Vieira and Odegaard because they're the same kind of player. They're the
I
same
agree.
kind of player. I think
Exactly.
yeah, defensively and physically, you lack if you play both of them, especially in big games. If ever we had to play Bernardo or David Silva, because they're so very good technically on the ball and they're not trying to run with the ball, it makes more sense. But the way Odegaard and the way Fabio Vieira play and create chances is the one that creates that imbalance with Badlala Boichu.
And Zinchenko couldn't invert properly because he has to stay with Saka. Because
Yeah.
if you leave Saka the wing to run, if Vele
Oh, Kulusevski,
Odegaard,
man.
yeah, oh,
Hey.
Kulusevski.
Kulusevski, yeah, Kulusevski. If
Yeah.
the system was still implemented the way that he wanted, in terms of
Yeah.
them having a box in midfield where Zinchenko and Rice stay behind Odegaard, no Vieira. It makes sense, but you can only do that for small teams. When you're playing a big team, their wingers
Mm.
will pull you out. So
Mm.
Zinchenko had to make sure Kulusevski is not making those blind runs. He
Yeah.
loves them. And Madison is obviously going to look for those runs when he makes them. In fact, didn't the second goal come as a result? No, I'm thinking about a late chance in
Nah.
the game that they could
Yeah.
have won.
They could have won.
Kulusevski
I recall.
broke free when he got to the box. He sort of over dribbled, and then I don't know who flapped the chance in the end, but that's the risk you run when you over invert a fullback. So
Yeah.
I think he hasn't found the right combinations for his team, and I think it's because of his midfield. Losing Party is massive for him,
Yeah. But I need to,
massive for him.
but it doesn't he play him as a right back whenever he's
Hey, they
fit?
say I'm right back.
Genius in game, he's
Because
too
because
talented.
Una, he plays him at right back so that he's the one who inverts. I need.
Yes,
So
he's trying
that
to invert
normally
the
doesn't
midfielder
work well.
from midfield. He's doing what
Ah,
Ulendo did with Delph, Pep did with Fabian Delph.
Eish. Yeah.
So it's the same principle that he's utilizing. But Delph was great defensively. That's the thing. He could actually
But how
defend
could
the fullback.
um I've also been watching Romero as well this season.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
He's been so
Can I
good.
give you
Kuti.
my opinion? Can I give you my
Yeah,
Yeah.
opinion on Romero? I
yeah.
think Romero is a top 2 defender in the league. I
Mm.
think the
Bro,
only
bro,
defender
that guy's really good.
Mm.
I would put above Romero is Diaz. The
Yeah,
only
no, Mpana
only
Kuti is
defender.
so good, bro.
Botman
Kuti is so
is
good.
third.
Yeah.
I believe Botman is third.
Nah.
Webster is fifth. Fourth for me is Saliba. But like I swear to you, Romero is
Yeah,
perfect as a
Kuti is
defender.
really good, bro. Kuti is really.
Yeah.
He
I know
does.
Kuti. Kuti. Defending in Zimbi, bro. That's what I
I
want
would
as a center back. I don't want Centre back. Tackle bese uzoxolisa. Uxoliselani. Uxolisa
Yeah,
baba. Say centre back.
Uyalimaza
It's a
ngayo
foul. Okay,
yeah,
sharp. Sama somaka futhi.
yeah,
Khuthiza.
uyalimaza ngayo manje.
The
Yes,
beast
yes.
in Ghana. He's a beast, and I
yeah,
think he's coming into his own now. People are going to realize his value. And I'm a player kanje don't last long. Uzombona he's gonna go to Abu Madrid or something.
yeah.
Madrid actually
They're
drew a
good.
100%.
similar game.
Because
They
I've
needed
already
to,
got la manga manje nabalabo.
yeah, they
Yeah,
needed
I love it. Yeah, no,
But
no, that's yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
you
know,
can
but like,
ma-
yeah, no, no, like to that game, that Arsenal game was very entertaining. I won't lie. I was thoroughly impressed by Tottenham more than anything, you know. I was like, okay, and has these guys balling, you know. But the thing is that is it his team say, you know, or can they continue to do this for a long period of time?
Yeah.
Because with
Not
Spurs,
enough depth. Not enough
yeah,
depth.
well, you see what I'm
the English
saying?
game. The English game is a slow burner, Baba.
Yeah,
Um, everyone has peaks,
and
and then there's a trust.
valleys.
So it's about
Yeah,
when you peak. This could be their peak, and they could be heading to November,
yeah,
limping. You never know with this league.
hmm,
January on its own can change an entire season for a team. So
yeah,
that's what I love about this league is that it's genuinely unpredictable. You can predict
hmm,
City winning it, but everyone else remains a topic, and as a result of that,
hmm,
always something to look forward to. Even the relegation scrap, can be very entertaining at times.
yeah,
So it's very unique as far as that level of drama, And there's
yeah.
gonna be that loss that City suffers where everyone celebrates, feel vindicated or whatever, unless they want to go
Yeah.
invincible this season. But it's
Eh?
very difficult to do that. It's very, very
Yeah, no, it's
difficult.
very, especially
West
in
Ham
this league.
can catch you on a bad day.
Luton,
Or
baba.
Crystal
Yeah,
Palace.
it's
Or
fun.
Crystal
Yeah,
Palace. If team yakasihle Crystal Palace can
Sure.
catch
hey,
you on a bad day.
I know
On a
Palace
Oh.
bad
does that
day.
to everyone, Mfethu. Palace does that to everyone. Nati, Mfethu, you know. And of course, I'm playing the Mbu Carabao Cup as well. We're defending the trophy. Hopefully, we defend it. But anyway, okay. But anyway, let's move over to my club, Mfethu. Hey, we got dominated by Burnley, guys. Did you see the ball possession?
Yo.
Yo,
Yo. Yo.
39%.
Jesus.
I go,
Yo,
Lucho. Go,
go be
Lucho.
done. You know what? Like we won, yes, we got the 3 points, but wow, how shit are
I,
we? Out of 10, like
I,
okay, how you know, out
how
of
you
10,
guys?
like what? What would you
You,
say?
you, you, you know, you know,
Anbukeleni.
Hey,
football is so unfair, ne?
hey,
Uh,
it's
Football has no justice in it. I was thinking about it this weekend. I'm like, what's sad is that okay, fine. I rewatched your game because bekunomsebenzi komele this weekend, so I didn't have
yes,
time.
yes,
So when the Springboks played, you guys were playing. So everyone was
yeah,
watching the Springboks. No one cared about Man United. So
yeah,
ngithola igame seyiphelile. Fine. I get home. I rewatch the game. Kunokuthi ngilale. I rewatch the game. Hey
yeah,
man, no, no, no.
it,
Like, oh no. There's teams that you can tell Uti, there was instruction here. There was a style they have to play, and they have failed to execute. Like the game keeps breaking. You see this with City sometimes, where they don't seem to connect on that day. It's either there's a wayward pass here, or someone doesn't pick up a run, or a through pass is just too strong. Like those small margins that they normally get right, they're just getting wrong on that day. You never get that feeling with Man United. You never get the feeling
yeah,
kusele kancane, just this one thing, and then they will find the answer. The goal itself was beautiful. My word,
yeah.
that was a
No, that was
beauty
a wild
from the
taken
from
goal,
the
fam.
pass, that just the weight and the timing of the pass, and the way it crossed Bruno's body was perfect for the
Hey,
volley as well. And the timing and the placement of the volley, the power Bruno used, that's a textbook volley. If you want to teach
yeah,
a child how to hit a volley, that's exactly how you teach them. Perfect goal. But yes, sis, that was an ugly game to watch.
Ish.
I was seeing Burnley like basically change formations. Bedlala ama-three, what, ngithi, madoda. Like this team is drilled. You can see the structure that
Yeah.
they're trying to use. They're trying to break down Man United. Onana had an amazing game. That is his best game since he wore Man United colours. That he
Mm.
saved Man United from embarrassment in that game.
Yeah, he
He
did.
made some
He did.
crucial, amazing saves as well. You
Yeah,
know. Uh,
but you only let him with a miss to Foster.
Yeah. Hey,
yes,
they missed.
yes,
See what Foster was
They
missing.
did.
yes,
Foster
yes.
bezomenzela ado nana ba.
Because of shy hat trick.
Plus, it was
Because
easy to
yo,
get behind that defense. Ubona ukuthi they could make
yo,
on both sides of the defenders. I'm like, come on, Johnny Evans ngapha kuyafana, Lindelof ngapha kuyafana. It's like, what's
Gafan,
going on?
dude.
What's going on with this team?
Ingube
There's
one,
nothing
Joe.
right.
Ingube one.
Yes. But at the same time, do you guys think the players are actually playing for the manager whenever you guys watch, as guys who don't support Man United?
What is the
La-
manager? What is the manager telling them? What are they
eh,
training? Because we can't
Last
see it on
season,
the pitch.
last season there were
Mm,
glimpses, né?
mm,
And the problem with glimpses is that you can't really credit management when you
mm.
are playing in glimpses. So glimpses is when you get possession, you move the ball very quickly, you hit on the counter, it looks nice. Or you can combine passes. Like you could play a passage of passes that lead into your attack, or create a quick build up, nyana, and then you bomb forward. Those were glimpses that you could see that suggested this was being coached, but it never became an identity. The problem with, and something Tuchel said, he said the problem with a big club is that you can't ask players to trust the process, because the process needs to yield results. If the results are not coming, then players stop believing in the process, and that is the biggest test to management, because then, and I have I have the same problem with Chelsea, that eventually the players are going to rebel against Poch's system,
Watch.
because if we are not seeing results, if we're not enjoying this because it's not yielding results, or we are not playing in the comfortability that we want, because to remove a player from where they are comfortable playing or how they are comfortable playing, you have to also show them that you benefit first. So if I'm telling you to press, I need to show you from results that you pressing yields these results. Then it's easy
Yeah.
for me to expect it from you, because you can see the results it gets you. If you say let's play a high line, the defense needs to say we are not getting caught from this high line. It's well drilled. We understand what we are doing. And if a ball goes over, we've got sweeping that is already arranged. So we're not constantly getting caught out because the manager is forcing us to play a high line. You can keep organization for your defense. So if you're telling your players to play a certain way, and they're constantly not doing it, then it tells you that the players are not bought into your ideas. And
Yep,
that's a
yep.
problem. That's a huge, huge problem. And it's not a personnel issue. It means that you have failed to show the players how they can benefit from playing that way.
Yes, I know there you've said a mouthful on Kempit.
Yep.
Like I
Sums
fully
it up.
agree with you. I know you've summed it up. Like I have no words, Mfitz. When I choose to perhaps have anything
No,
to
no.
add since your
Well
club,
spot on.
Mfitz. Yeah, I know you've hit the nail on the head. Because even right now, what's trending is not us playing. It's not stuff that's happening on the field that's trending for Man United. It's stuff that's off the field. Right now, Sancho, I can see even on Twitter right now that he's up there again. Like this entire day, it's been Sancho this, Sancho that. Ngokuthi manje simxoshile canteen, ukazimela nesikhaftini manje. You know,
Kawan.
it's so
Kawan.
childish. I
Kawan.
think it's so childish to what we're doing to Sancho. Talk like yes, he's had a fallout with the manager, and we all know where it stems from. And I mean, there's a way in which you conduct yourself as a manager as well. As much as we say to Sancho, it's not right of him to, stand his ground. But at the same time, you're a man, dog. More than anything, man, as Mchita, as a grown man, if someone is gonna assassinate your character, you know, and you know very well that your reputation amongst the fan base is not so great. You're seen as a villain. From the moment we signed with Sancho, he's always been seen as a villain. Yeah, well, it's
I,
it's 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 that.
and
Yeah,
I make this example.
yeah,
Sometimes you can learn a lot from coaches.
yeah,
There's something that Pep said about Nunes a few weeks back that
Yeah, but the first touch.
yeah, United fans were taking as, yeah, why when Pep says it and whatever. I'm like, but Pep is not talking. Well, to myself, I was like, Pep is not talking about the player's work ethic.
yeah,
Pep is talking about the player's technical ability.
Mm.
That's
yeah.
easy to develop. He's not saying
Mm,
he's not working. He's saying that there are areas of
Yep.
his game. So he is giving himself a task as a coach to say there are areas of his game that I need to work with him to get him to the player that he can be. Tuchel said this last week about Mazraoui. They were asking why Mazraoui is sitting on the bench, and he said, if you've seen Conrad Laimer and how he's playing, Mazraoui needs to fight for his position. That's why he's on the bench.
mm,
It's nothing else. It's not special or whatever. He has to fight, and he has to continue to fight. And it's not that it's not happening. What happens in big clubs is that you have great quality players that are all fighting for the same positions. So often others will be selected above others. That's just how it happens. But the
yeah,
players that are next in line are always fighting for that, and I encourage that. He needs to fight to earn that place above Lima. At the present moment, Lima is ahead of him, but Lima can easily fall to the back because of the quality that Mazraoui has. So he's not saying I've lost all hope for that player. Or that player is not training well or whatever. He's saying work still needs to be done to get the player to where they need to be, and that's what coaches are supposed to do when they are asked about players that are not playing. Not this thing of saying he didn't. You're not a principal. Not this thing of saying no, he didn't train well. That's nonsense. You don't say that. Even if he didn't train well, you don't tell the media that your player's not training well. You can say that we felt as though for this week and the work that we've done this week, um, we were not entirely prepared around playing with Sancho. We would want to keep him and play him at a later stage. At the present moment, the squad that we have right now, we are fine with playing who we have. You want to be as diplomatic as possible,
yeah,
not be an asshole just because you want to prove that you are the
Yep.
boss or whatever. And he's gonna lose the rest of the dressing room because it's not like Sancho doesn't have friends within that
exactly.
train with him, that know his work ethic, and they
Mm,
have to go on Sundays not playing him or watch him miss out on training to train with the under 21s and not understand why or how that's happened. And remember, it's still fresh in these players that it happened to Cristiano as well. That
Yeah, and
Cristiano
then
isolated.
the problem is that as a player, man, so uthukile because it's so easy to have a bad day. Nto. So easy to
Yes.
have an off day. It's so easy for the kusasa kuba uwe coach okhuluma ngawe ukuthi wena doesn't train well or you don't eat well or you overweight or it isn't job. It's such a small fine line ukuthi there's someone else in the team also kanjalo. And once players start to feel like that, I will about nah, this guy needs to go. And if it means ukuthi we will stop playing for him, we'll do it. And this weekend's game was clear example of that. That was
Yeah, they
yeah,
were firing the
terrible for
coach.
Man United.
They were firing the coach there.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
were really
Especially
firing.
when if Burnley won that game, I think Erik Ten Hag was in trouble after that game.
yeah.
They
I know
bought him
that.
a few more weeks.
Yeah,
I know you men have said a mouthful. You guys have, I feel like you guys. I echo your sentiment completely there because really, and as well, what has Ten Hag achieved that he can,
Dog.
at
he
the,
got the United a job. That's an achievement.
no, but still, I mean, I understand. You see, like with Pep, if Pep would do something like this, I'd understand. But Pep has a treble, two trebles for crying out loud. Tuchel has Champions League. He's achieved. These guys have achieved like big trophies. Ten Hag hasn't yet reached that standard, and that's another thing I feel like maybe Sancho on his end is like, who are you, fam, to act as if what you are doing right now is yielding anything of substance. Yeah, well, and I mean, I'm not, I'm personally, Vela, I'm not all for player power, but at the same time, I'm also putting myself in Sancho's shoes and to like treatment as well. Let's respect each other. At the end of the day, and let
yaze ngibukele in a funny to bring it
yeah,
up. Ngibukele is sitting with Prostan.
yeah,
So he brought the Pirates captains or four previous Pirates captains on the show.
Vincent.
Ngazisho
yeah,
yani. Eopensini
it's
or
yeah,
Nomayela bekada. So
hey,
so uthi Prostan, oh le nto nalezi manje lezi ama-prima donna. Yes, yes. Athi the new players manje are like white chickens. Athi inkukhu ezimhlophe. Athi le wayibheka kabi nje seyikwatile seyimudle the rest of the season. Athi kudala bekukhulunywa noma kanjani ku-change room. Impela yakungena entshela ukuthi endlala amasimba baba ngazongitshela
yeah.
kukhulunywa kanjalo. And that's how they motivate. Manje umuntu kumele aye ku-counselling uma ukhuluma naye kanjalo. And that's exactly izinto ezenza bo-Sancho. These young guys, uSancho uyambona ukuthi mawungamudla ku-FIFA, yes, singakukhulumisa the whole day.
Yes, he's very
Yeah.
petulant.
Singakukhulumisa the whole
Yeah.
day.
He's very petulant. There's a famous clip of him being subbed for Foden when they were still in the academy, and he basically throws his toys out because he's getting subbed. But I always think about that. Ukuthi, top players don't like being removed from games. This is true for any top player. And I think his ego has always been that of a top player. But
Yeah.
Upep washo phela. Upep
he
washo.
he perhaps felt Ukuthi he has arrived way too early. You see,
Upep
Jude
washo mfana.
Jude has the same ego. Jude has the ego of a top player. But Jude also understands that he needs to put in the work every single time he gets on the pitch.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
you see with his work rate, Tuguti, even when he plays bad, like even last week, that game, he wasn't really having a great game.
Yeah.
But he's so bought into the idea, Yoguti, Noma kwenzakalani, I'm going to find a way. That British dog,
yeah.
attitude of
Surprise.
his. It works for him because of the position he plays. You know, Even though I still believe that Real Madrid needs something more creative in their midfield. Their midfield is too many of the same things. But that's us Real
Yeah.
Madrid right now. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think that's Sancho's biggest downfall. And coaches that are like Ten Hag, that want to be the egos in the room, will be much comfortable with players like Rashford, who don't show ego, even though they play with an ego. Because when Rashford
Yeah.
plays, you can tell
Hey.
he feels that he's too good to press. He's too good to
Mm-hmm.
work off the ball. Yeah, you can see in the way that he plays. And that's why he feels so emboldened, Uti. I don't have to pass. I back myself so much, Uti. I'm a lethal striker that I pass for who? I'm going to find my way to goal. I'm going to beat these three guys and I'm going to score. Plus, he knows that he doesn't have to worry about being subbed or worry about being dropped as long as he doesn't come late to team meetings or
Hey.
training. Ten Hag is going
Yeah.
to keep starting him. So those are some of the problems that his favorites, will always start. Ganacho
Mm.
had two bad games, didn't start another game
And
after. Pelestri played, doesn't play. You never know what's going on with that team. Anthony's gonna come back. Anthony's gonna play every single game. He can have as many bad games as he wants. Sancho will never have a good game or whatever for that team because that's just the
it's the
idea
nature.
that
Yeah.
yes, that's the idea that team is operated around. So it's very unfortunate. But
I know it
yeah,
really is.
enough about
I
that
know.
team.
Yeah, I know you laugh about that team. In the last 10 minutes, let's talk about your team. Okay, I mean, the theme of the show is blue. So yeah, keep on team yako onke Tony. What's
Abafuna
happening?
ungilalela ngithi. Basafuna ukudlala ngoThiago Silva mfana. Abafuna ungilalela.
Hey,
That's
ngokwatisu onke.
that, that, I
Yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you as far as playing with Thiago Silva. But I think our issue is not even about conceding because we don't concede more than one goal.
Yeah.
We considered more than one goal when we played Eland. What's this team? West Ham. Ne? That was a
West
great
Ham,
game
yeah.
from. That was a great game from us. West Ham beat us playing the game that they play, and we couldn't stop that game. But that was one of the last games we actually played very well consistently, and we missed a lot of chances. But I
Mm.
still feel Uguti, there's a lot I question about Poch as a coach. There's a lot of
Hey.
he doesn't put his best foot forward. We had a bench of three left backs on Sunday, and
He still played Colwell.
we still played Colwell at left back. And I'm thinking to myself, Disasi has proven. Like I was very skeptical of Disasi. Disasi is solid, like Nje. No, like Disasi, very solid. Angena Lapayana, he's great, in the air, all of that. Back him. Play Disasi, play Colwell. Let that be your back two.
Yeah.
Play Gusto. Okay, he's now
Yeah.
what's the suspended. But
Suspended.
I thought we should have appealed that red card because
Yeah.
Gusto clearly gets the ball first, and then he follow through is basically what gets him carded, and that's not violent play or anything like that. He's sliding on a wet pitch. You know, those have to be given back to players. You can't be faulted for those things. So okay, Gusto when he plays, but then you need to play a natural left back at left back because what kept happening is Mikhailo was very isolated, and he still was our best creative outlet because he's having to carry balls from far. He has to dribble, and he attracts three. Whenever he gets a touch on the ball, three players are coming to squeeze that space because they know his speed. So they don't want him to break. He beat Cash like three times in that game. He still was the first person to get subbed, even though he was playing better than Sterling. So those are some of the things that frustrate you as a fan to say, what game are you watching as the coach? If the left is isolated and the left is still the most creative part of this team and understand. Secondly, oh my God, I'm getting to the point where I'm so frustrated with Nicholas Jackson because when
Ish.
Zagakulo, he just
Yeah.
does too much.
Typical is typical African striker, man. African
Nah.
Yo,
strikers are like that.
too
They
much.
want to do too much.
Yes,
Yeah. Instead of keeping it simple.
yes, he gets great
Oh,
chances, and then
it's
he just does. Mudrik played a beautiful pass, a
you.
He
blind
Yeah,
bonita
that
to
pass.
pass.
that miss, man.
Beautiful
Yo,
That
pass.
a
miss.
beautiful pass. And I'm like,
Wow, no go market.
oh, yo, umuntu lona ungiqeda amandla lo. How are
Balance
you
is
missing?
so off.
And then Mudrik beats Cash again, gets to the byline, crosses the ball. Jackson stops. A striker is supposed to attack the first pole. He stops. The cross comes right behind the defender in the zone that he's supposed to be attacking. He's not there. Enzo has to attack from the last pole. Ukuthi azame ukuthola ibhola and then he misses. That's an easy chance at a goal that he just let go of. It frustrates me. Secondly, or thirdly, or fourthly, or whatever, why is Enzo playing as a number 10 when he's a deep lying playmaker? You're doing this to keep Gallagher in the game when we have Cole Palmer, who is perfect at 10. Cole Palmer comes in within 2 minutes. Cole Palmer finds himself in midfield, hits a blinder of a pass to Chilwell. Chilwell gets a one on one. This is after Eland Aston Villa scores. Chilwell gets it one on one. Oh, defender enzani? Defender, you shy goalkeeper ngebhola. If you look at the XG is expected goals. Man
yeah.
City and Chelsea are one and two. City is one, obviously. Chelsea is two. We have the worst goal conversion rate in the entire league. We waste
Ish.
the most chances. It doesn't make sense. And we literally are just goals away from saying, Poch is the one. Hey, Poch is the one. We would be
Yeah, that's true.
accepting even of his problems and the things that he does that don't make sense to us because we would be getting results. Now we are being frustrated by his tactics, results. You know, when it's everything at the same time, it's even more frustrating. It's better if it's, we're not playing great, but at least we are winning. You know, we are not winning. And then on top of that, we're playing weird formations, people in the wrong place. You start Gallagher, and then instead of taking Gallagher out when you put Palmer in so that Enzo can drop deep, you take Caicedo out. So now we've lost the edge we had in midfield. And as a result of taking Casado out, you allow these people to run straight through our midfield to score a goal. Because the
Which,
who's that boy? He wasn't getting those runs because Caicedo was protecting the defense. Now David Lento Silva is playing all the way in midfield where he loses the ball and he cannot recover. If Caicedo is the one who's playing in midfield, he recovers for Silva. We're not talking about any goal that was scored against us. Instead, we're talking about nil-nil draw most likely because that was the likely result in that game. We are playing teams into games. We are allowing teams into games. If you score against us, you're likely gonna win. It's like playing Kaizer Chiefs. Just score one. You are going to win the game. It is so
eh,
frustrating. It is so
yeah.
frustrating
Figures.
because you
So
can't say
Peters,
you can't say
yeah,
defense can concede. A defense is going to concede eventually or once in a
yeah,
while.
I just like combinations, Pan. He need to try to play a bit more combinations with Pochettino. Colwell,
yeah,
Casado. You come from Brighton, Badlal. Palmer, Sterling. Same team, Badlal. Fako Enzo Lapane. You figure the individual guys who are really good. You play along with that thing. Okay, Gusto, Disasi. They're French. They come from the French league. Badlal.
yeah,
Badlal, they understand each other, understand how they defend against. I feel like a Poch before he goes to games, unibhalile, une-notepad yakhe laphana ubhalile 60th minute sub left wing play left, say 45 minute sub holding mid play. That's his strength. Then kunamaside ayi-two. If we're winning 1-0, do this. If we're winning 2-0, do this. If we're losing, so in engqondweni yakhe, he's trying to he's not he's not involved in the game, man. He's involved in
Yes.
what his tactic wants to do, and that's how he loses Chelsea, and I think he loses the players as well because you have
yeah,
like a 60 minute go boom.
Yeah, and cheese, I have a problem with the coach who values solidity over over structure. When you want to be solid, like I need to be defensively solid, is that you're not creating a structure that will find ways into teams. So when you play against teams that block very low, we have to rely on Eland on creating offense through transition all the time because when Funupa solid, you're not trying to create a structure that is offensive. Njalo when Funupa solid, what happens when you concede? You can't find ways to create goals. When other teams concede, you see how helter skelter the attack becomes. Even if Benlele in a game, even if it's Arsenal, they were sleeping in a game, going through their emotions. When they concede, there's a gear that shifts. You can see it in the way that they press, they play, in how they are combinations and how they play with speed. We don't have that gear, team. When we concede, it's almost as if we still trying to find what is needed or required from us. We don't know how to press immediately. Palmer comes in, applies pressure, tries to put pressure on the defense. We miss. From there, we are not finding him to be a creative outlet. We just don't know how to use that team properly, and I think that goes to how you play players. So when you take Enzo out of ball progression, you are killing build up. Now you're forcing Silva to find passes. No, Silva should be offloading to the midfield. Give Caicedo, give Enzo. Let them be the ones that find passes. Abo Silva are options to spread. The defense is options to spread the ball around so that you can stretch the other team. If maybe they are pressing you or they've applied enough pressure and you need some breather to reset. But you're not using your defense to cut through teams. That's not what your defense is for. I hate that nonsense. Ulento's trying to do that where the defense is now doing direct passes to Abo Jackson. Jackson's not going to do anything with a silver pass because Utiago is not going to turn the defense. He's going to pass him Mbonu available. It's going to be up to Jackson whether he's turning the defense or Jackson is dishing the ball or whatever. That's still work to be done. So give the ball to the midfield who can allow Jackson to get the ball running towards goal. He's not getting through passes. He got one through pass, he missed it. But we need to be feeding that guy more through passes so he can miss more of them. He'll eventually
Yeah,
score. That's
yeah,
how strikers. That's the food for strikers. If we keep starving strikers, we are going to be pointing out one chance and two chances here and there where they missed. They are supposed to miss these people. That's what they do. How many goals does Haaland miss a game? How many?
Yeah, you missed another sitter this weekend.
Dog, he
yeah,
hit.
yes, yes.
Was trying there, Pezulu. I saw that.
No. Oh.
But that's what you have to live with. That's a striker. They miss chances. They have to miss chances in order to score. It's part of it. But the problem here is that the striker is so starved in the position of being a striker that when they do get that one chance, it's going to be memorable because that's the only chance they got. So yeah, structure. I mean, I believe in structure. You have to drill a structure for the offense so that they understand each other better. The way Gusto and Sterling are playing on the right is fine. I like that because there's a combination there. There's an understanding in place. Even though Sterling can take too long to make decisions, I think Jackson also takes too long. Once Jackson starts running, he can't find his passing boots. It's almost as if he's about to trip himself sometimes when he's running with the ball, so he can't find that decisive through pass. So it just makes our final third um, deliveries look very wrong. There's a lot of work though. I'm bought into the idea that there's a lot of work, but I'm losing faith in Poch, honestly. Even his
Yo,
speeches are changing. They are changing. He was like, yeah, we demand wins at Chelsea. We are trying to challenge for the win, for the league and every cup and whatever. Now it's a project. These things are gonna take time. I'm like, you see now, narrative
yeah,
is changing.
Sizakhala.
Yakala man,
Sizakala. Because your
yakala man.
guys' fixed fixtures, hey, and you guys are gonna be playing against a lot of tough teams. To like, yo, do you
It's the
think
league,
Poch will
man.
survive? Do you think Poch will survive though on your end? Okay. Or are
Who are
you
they
like
playing?
Mike? Where? Let me just
Can I
check.
can I tell you what my problem is? My problem is
Yeah,
our owners took a very long time to make this appointment, Yaga Poch. So according to them, they did the due diligence they didn't do for Potter. And Potter stayed so long while he was getting horrible results. So my concern is that they might find justification from their own process of hiring him to say, no, we are willing to back this guy until. The ruthlessness has not yet developed with these ones. They are still very new to this industry.
yeah.
They're not ruthless yet. So I think they want us to see us around 16th position before they start being like, okay, this is not what we were investing in, So I'm concerned, bro. I won't lie. I'm very concerned. Not by how we are playing, by the results icon.
Yeah.
It's not looking good,
Fulham,
So
Burnley,
yeah,
Arsenal, Brentford, Tottenham.
It
let's
starts
see
with
from.
Brighton tomorrow. Starts with Brighton tomorrow.
Oh gosh,
Sizokaka.
is it?
Sizo- Sizokaka lapho.
Dog.
I don't
Okay, if you
think
guys lose to me, dog, you did, bro. If you guys lose to me, chief,
how can I get to you? How can I get to you when I still have Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal,
Newcastle.
Newcastle, and Brighton? I'm not even thinking about your ass. I'm thinking about beating Fulham and Burnley. I need to beat Fulham and Burnley so that I can
you
leave
have to,
the bottom.
because it's away games now. Calling them fits. It's two away games, so fits.
I, I'll be honest about Chelsea. Better to play away than home. We have the worst home crowds. It's a library there. They are so they are so anxious.
Yeah,
They are so anxious. It sucks to play at the bridge, bruh. It's almost as if the home fans they are not sure. They don't believe. So they are just there waiting for a goal to happen. When a goal happens, the energy changes. But if a goal doesn't happen, you can tell. That's why they boo whenever we lose or draw, because they were never in the game. They were there to be entertained. So no, away games are better. The fact that we're playing Arsenal at home, they're probably gonna hit us with a 4-0 scoreline or something like that, because Stamford Bridge is just hell.
Yes. Wow. Yes, like it. No,
The tennis court, Puti.
Tennis court,
tennis
Baba.
court.
The tennis court.
The Wimbledon boy.
uyayibona leya khona yama-away fans
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes the most noise on match days. Do you realize that? You can hear the away fans singing at every game at Stamford Bridge. You can't say that for Man United. You can't say that for City. You can't say that for Tottenham. And City used to be a stadium like that. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I don't know what can be done for the atmosphere. They need to hire some type of people to sing and create songs. But we do not.
Your owner's American. He can pull some strings, but Beyonce halftime.
Beyonce boy halftime. You know.
And because of that, we can't apply pressure on the ref. We can't apply pressure on. You understand that? That's what fans do. That's what fans do. Have you ever heard the Old Trafford Mabatoli foul? Almost every foul is supposed to be a card, and that plays a psychological role in the referee and how they make decisions. The reason home teams get favored a lot on decisions is because the home fans are there. If the home fans are quiet, izinto ziyenzakala boGusto othola ama-red card, kumele silwe, fight. Red card. That nigga's gonna be like, nah, let's let this one go. I'm gonna start a stampede here. Instead at the bridge, it's old people, so it's like
Our captain abelungu base-England ba-diplomatic baba. That's why ngakubuza mina ngandaba yabo labo captain bangathi ibhandi doesn't matter ukuthi I'm a leader or winning, but mangifaka ibhandi, it says a lot, bro. It says a lot. And we can always lead from assist, but the guys who are also captain Chelsea,
I don't like our captains at all. I'm not a fan.
Listen. And I know, gents. I think we've covered what needed to be discussed. I mean, an hour and 7 minutes is quite some time. But once again, thank you so much for availing yourselves, Buffet too. I just wanted to check. I know Cheese doesn't watch rugby, but on Thursday at 8. You watch rugby, Cheese? You watch it? You can join. I'll say it on the group. We are now if you want to join. Because I mean, last time, when I was watching New Zealand and SA, you're like,
no, Begali Diski. So definitely the Springbok games I watch, but angeke mfana ngizothi sengisiras ngibukela wonke. So I watched the important ones. But it's just today they're trying to exclude us as a people who less of sport, Sonji.
I know I hear you. But anyway, guys, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Help a brother out. This is Easy Sport, and we out.
Hola.
Hola.